When the right leaders are in the right position, change is inevitable. Coming up, I believe with all of my heart that it will be foolish for any South African to deny what the government of national unity has done so far. If you look at Dating Mackenzie, for instance, love him or hate him, but the guy is moving in with his guns blazing.
In his latest post, he said superfans Mama Joy Chauke and Botha Msila would no longer travel the world on taxpayers' money. There was outrage when the two travelled to the Rugby World Cup in France and the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. The trip to the World Cup cost taxpayers in the region of 1.3 million rand. In other recent posts, Mackenzie said a list should be published of all artists and sports people who have been receiving money from his department, inclusive of amounts and reasons. He said the time where only a select connected few benefit was over. The sports minister attended last weekend's test match between Rugby World Cup champions the Springboks and Ireland at Loftus Versfeld and also bemoaned the fact that the match was not accessible to all South Africans. He's adamant that Springbok matches should be televised live by the SABC. Mackenzie is expected to further outline his department's plans at a news conference after this week's Cabinet Lekgotla.
How about Peter Groenewald, who moved in and turned the Department of Correctional Service upside down? You remember this?
These inmates got up to a rude awakening. This as prison officials and police held a shock raid at the prison facility under the cover of night. Correctional Service National Commissioner Makgothi Thubagale led the operation. Thubagale was left speechless and in shock at some of the items that were discovered during the search.
We found there are offenders that have got television sets, but they could not produce permits for them to have those television sets.
Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson on construction mafia. This is a guy who even revealed the fact that there might be some politicians who are involved in construction mafia.
Another individual was detained for allegedly intimidating contractors in Hospital Road in Durban, a tactic linked to what's known as the construction mafia. Public Works Minister Dean McPherson has made it clear that there will be no negotiation with this kind of extortion. Nobuhle Modise has the latest developments.
Police have intensified their efforts to curb the influence of criminal syndicates at government construction sites in KwaZulu-Natal. Over the weekend, 5 men were arrested at a bridge construction site in Umsunduzi. They are accused of disrupting operations in an attempt to coerce contractors into giving them a cut of the project. They appeared at the Crackdown Magistrates Court, where they are facing a charge of extortion. In a separate incident, another arrest was made on Friday on Hospital Road in Durban. A man was taken into custody for allegedly threatening and intimidating contractors, again aimed at forcing compliance with syndicates' demands. McPherson says these syndicates are particularly problematic in KwaZulu-Natal.
KwaZulu-Natal is ground zero for these disruptions and disturbances that we have seen. We've seen the most amount of violence, where we've seen people killed. We've seen attempted assassinations of executives in construction companies. And I think that until such time as we can clamp down and eradicate it from this province, we're going to battle to do it anywhere else, because these people are taking their lead from what's going on in this province.
Minister of Police Senzo Mfundo on extortion and illegal foreigners. Oh man, how long have we been as South African complaining about illegal foreigners who are wreaking havoc in our country? the man has dealt with them head on.
Over 120 undocumented foreign nationals were arrested in an early morning raid in Durban's Central Business District. The operation, led by Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and Premier Nduli, targeted the Point area. Police pounced on a number of hijacked buildings in search of illegal arms. Newsroom Africa's Nobuhle Modise has the details.
A comprehensive operation involving multiple agencies, including the police, Metro Police, Correctional Services, Home Affairs, and other law enforcement units, was launched to assert state authority and address the issue of hijacked buildings in Durban CBD. The early morning raid resulted in the arrest of 123 undocumented foreign nationals. The operation also uncovered counterfeit US dollars worth 4.1 million rand at the Point area.
Our biggest problem as law enforcement is buildings like these that are not properly managed. The owners have abandoned the building, and other people decided to hijack the building, and they demarcated different flats inside, and they're renting them out.
We are there, we are doing work, and we will bring culprits and perpetrators to justice. If they want to support us, as we are pleading with them to support us, give us names of those who are involved in whatever crime there. Illegal occupation of buildings, extortions, the so-called protection fees. We want all those people who are involved there.
Him, of course, and our hero, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, raiding the illegal immigrants that are infesting KZN province. Oh man, how I love that. How I love that. How I love that. That's GNU in its best. And remember, in a very short space of time.
Yes, I speak glowingly about the Government of National Unity because through the Government of National Unity we are in a new era in the political and I would say economic life of our country. This is an era that is pregnant with many possibilities, very good possibilities for our country. At a political level, it has stabilized the politics in government, in our country, to stabilize government. We are united as the 10 political parties in working together in ensuring that we have a strong, effective government that will lead the process of development, transformation and economic growth and in our country and to address the socio-economic challenges that our people are facing. And so therefore I speak so gladly about the Government of National Unity, as all of us who are involved in it speak about it, because it is going to usher in great developments and opportunities for our people. And I'm glad also that many of our people support the Government of National Unity. As I travel through the length and the breadth of our country, I find that there is so much support. And of course, we still need to explain to our people what animal this is. And as we explain, the people get to grips with it and they understand better and appreciate the efforts that we are making to develop the fortunes of our country and improve the lives of our people going forward.
And I believe with all of my heart, so far, GNU is working. People of South Africa need service delivery. That's it. We don't care whether it comes from a white person, whether it comes from a colored person, whether it comes from an MK, we don't care. We just need service delivery. And that, by the way, will determine the party that's going to win the election come 2026. We don't care whether the tribe is pink or red or black, as long as it catches the mice. That's where we are at. And by the way, that's what EFF missed. Because when the GNU came, GNU said, look, anyone who wants to serve the country, anyone who wants to take this country forward, he has an opportunity. And EFF leaders, some EFF leaders, spoke to Malema to say, hey, Malema, let's jump in and make sure that we serve our people. Let's jump in and just serve our people. But Malema said, no, he can't jump into this GNU as long as there is DA. Who cares about your vendetta with white people and DA? We don't care about that. We just want service delivery. EFF wanted to vote for Ndlozi to be the premier of Gauteng. Here, this thing, EFF leaders wanted to serve the country. But Malema, because of his personal hatred towards white people, DA that is, he said, no, we are not jumping to this GNU as long as there is DA. Which, by the way, is one of the reasons why some of the members of EFF jumped the ship and went to MK or to other parties. Because some of these leaders want to serve their country. They want to prove themselves that they can do this. Look at PA. Look at Gayton Mackenzie. Gayton has got a smaller party, but Gayton is effective. Gayton is serving the country. That's what EFF leaders wanted. Some of them, of course. But Malema said, no, 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 no. He said that himself, by the way. I'm not just creating stories. He said it himself that some of his leaders wanted to join the government of national unity, but he denied and said, no, he's not going to work with colonizers. Come on, really?
Comrades, the GNU must be declared the enemy of the EFF. I am shocked because these people who left and who are now willing to leave and who are silent as we speak now are the ones who are saying we must join the GNU. They said to us that we must join the GNU, the DA and Freedom Front Plus will walk away. I asked them the same question I asked even during the negotiations. Just a few days ago, at the anniversary of the EFF, and Dalimpof is my witness. I said, if we go into the GNU, the DA doesn't walk out, what do we do? They said the DA will walk out. I said, we have heard that part. What if they don't walk out? They said we stay. I said, well, I can't stay in a GNU with the DA and the Freedom Front Plus. I refuse. No, the people want to take us to GNU.
Who cares? Cares. White people are here. We cannot rid South Africa of white people. We can't do that, Malema. It's not going to happen. Imagine missing an opportunity to serve your people, to prove to your people that you love them, you are here for them. Because when you hate white people, really? What we need to understand as South Africans, though, is this. This is GNU, Government of National Unity, which comprises of different parties. Obviously, there will be conflict of policies because these parties come with their own different philosophies and policies. So there will be conflict, therefore, and it's okay. Some of these parties, by the way, didn't like the idea of GNU. They criticized it at first. And later, guess what? They joined in, especially smaller parties. You remember Action SA? And you will remember IFP.
You are not interested in a government of national unity where all the major parties can have a say. You want a corner where others are excluded.
But we can't Professor JJ, from the word go to work for a government of national unity, because we will be starting from a wrong footing. The people of South Africa, they will be voting the government that failed them, voting it out. And to bring it back through the back door will be a terrible thing to
Even
do.
if they got 49.
We've got a framework on coalitions, and part of what it says is that our first preference would be with parties that agree with us in terms of our policies. But we haven't ruled out coalitions with anybody.
With anyone
because
at
at the end of the day, you need to look at how do you stabilize the country, how do you make sure that you have a government. But as I say, there are three options, and ours is certainly to go for a majority.
People have lost faith in politics, in political parties, and in political leaders. People need new leadership. That is going to come with new perspectives. It is unencumbered by the baggage of corruption that we have seen over the last 20 years, in particular in South Africa, and so on. What is important for South Africans to understand, it is that unless there are a lot of these people that we have now out of parliament and out of the government, a government of national unity is not going to be the solution.
For us to go back to a GNU would be to regress democratic practice. What we need to do is continue the process we've begun of amending the electoral law and ensure that politicians are accountable to the people.
JJ, the day after the election, we will phone the parties in the multi-party charter, and we'll chart the way forward. We will not go into some backroom deal with the ANC. We'll consult our partners. There are different possibilities. You might sit with a minority government. You might have to make some kind of a voting arrangement. But the multi-party charter is our best alternative
so Action SA was
to the
mistaken.
ANC.
But I think the point is that Action SA has aligned itself with a group of parties, not because we think alike on everything or we agree on everything. As you've indicated, in a number of key regards, we disagree with one another. But most importantly, we align around change. South Africa requires of political parties to do what South African citizens do every day. And that is work with other people that they might not agree with everything about. That we have to work with them for the good of society.
You see, they're all back. They all have changed their mind. Those are politicians for you. Conflict of policies happens to the best countries globally. So it's okay. So conflict is inevitable when you are dealing with the government of national unity. We should therefore stop catastrophizing the GNU as South Africans. Each time when there's some conflict, then we are like, oh, that's the end of it. Oh, it's finished with GNU. No. As long as these parties find a compromise where they can come together and compromise, okay, so that we can move forward. So to expect all those parties under GNU to agree on everything is an unrealistic expectation. So what I'm saying is, let's give them a chance. Even on the issue of BELA bill, where DA seems to be having a problem, DA will have to find a way to compromise. As I said, that these parties will have to compromise on some certain issues. But that does not mean that is the end of GNU now. So I don't know what to think, South Africa. Let me hear your comment below, and please, if it's your first time on this channel, don't forget to subscribe.